Welcome into NBA Now here live on YouTube. We are by Chat Sports, and hey, it's Friday, which means we're going to talk some basketball with you guys. Chase Sr. is out of town, so I am solo for today's show, but hey, we're still going to have a whole lot of fun, so don't even worry about that. I got producer Jeremy along for the ride. The playoffs are almost here, so let's have some fun. And before we get into the bulk of our show, we're going to ask you guys to answer some questions. We'll let the audience build up a bit, and then we'll get into the meat of today's live stream. Shout out your city in the comments. Let us know where you guys are watching from, and I'll get you guys some shout-outs. So shout out your city, and I'll get some shout-outs in the comments section. We'll ask a few questions here, and once the audience builds up a little bit, we'll go ahead and get into the latest news and rumors. Clay is from Denver. Ghost is here in Texas. We've got Nicholas in England. Appreciate you watching from across the pond. Let's see. Terrence says they need to fire Danny Ainge. We'll talk some Celtics hoops later. North Brunswick, New Jersey from Jeff. North Carolina from 2K Me. Let us know, where are you guys watching from? Let's see. Robert says, you are the great. Hey, Sam. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Tom and Mitch. Hey, we have a lot of fun. We appreciate all the support for all of us here at Chat Sports. LA from Zam. Mark is in Milwaukee, so continue to let us know where you guys are watching from. By the way, the playoffs are almost here, so who you got? Who's going to win the NBA title, the NBA Finals, this upcoming season? Say that again, Producer Jeremy. Producer Jeremy's rolling with the Clippers this year, so I did that last year. I pushed the Clippers narrative. I was like, I don't care that they're doing load management. I don't care that they're having some weird games. I think they're going to win it all, and they let me down, so I can't pick them this year. I think the Suns come out of the West if I had to pick, and then the Nets in the East. Suns, Nets finals for me. Bucks, Clippers for producer Jeremy. Maybe this is the year that Milwaukee and the Clippers finally break through. Let's see here. Utah from Randy. Miami from Not Webb's World. Terrence says he's watching in California. Miami, San Jose is where Chase is watching from. We got a super chat from Sebastian. We'll pull that up in just a second. The Lakers for Nicholas. 2K says the Lakers as well. Philly for Sam. Let's see. The Hawks for Reginald. Hey, I would pick the Nets if they were healthy from Chase. I don't feel great about the pick. I just think they're the most talented, so I'm going to roll with them in the East. 76ers from Emmanuel. Lakers and 76ers from Terrence. Here's that super chat from Sebastian. Appreciate you. Danny Ainge tends to add veterans, not bust picks, so appreciate the super chat on that. And yeah, there's a lot of chatter around the Celtics right now, so stay tuned for that. The Knicks from Clay, he says LOL. Jazz and 76ers from Randy. Who is going to win the title this year? By the way, if you're ready for the NBA playoffs, if you're ready for some real hoops to get going, like this video. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We have 8 likes on today's show. 8. Come on. Got over 50 people watching. Like this video. We can at least get to 20 likes, and we'll continue to grow from there. So help us out. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's talk a little MVP action as well. On today's show, I'll give my award predictions for all the major awards in the NBA this year, and who's going to win the MVP. I'm not going to reveal my pick right now. We'll do that later on in the show, but I'll shout you guys out at the moment. Type NJ for Nikola Jokic, JE for Joel Embiid, and then SC for Stephen Curry. These are the top 3 guys at this point in the season. I think Chris Paul, Julius Randle deserve some love, but these are the top 3 candidates with just a couple of games to go. So let's see here. We'll get to that super chat later on, Sebastian, because I like that question. We'll get to it during our mailbag, so we will answer that. But if you super chat, if you use hashtag NBA, we'll get to your questions. Steph Curry from SG. Let's see. Nikola Jokic, no cap from Reginald. Jokic from Terrence. Curry from Nicholas. Let's see. J-Stat from Curry. SG says Curry. Jokic from Chase, but he thinks Steph deserves it. Curry for SG. Let's see. Warren says Curry. Izzy World says Luka. Clay says Jokic. It isn't close. Let's see. A couple more shout-outs here. SG's spamming Curry. Jokic from ACB. Warren says Steph Curry. So no Joel Embiid love. Interesting. Very, very interesting. hot topic, hot debate as Russell Westbrook has been playing some good basketball. And I think this is a little out there, but we were debating this in the office earlier, so we'll have some fun with it. Is Russell Westbrook, by the way, that's Russell with 2 L's. Ignore my horrible spelling there. I'll get that fixed for the folks. Jeremy, is Russell Westbrook a top 5 point guard in NBA history? I'll just do, is Westbrook a top 5 point guard in NBA history? Y for yes, N for no. Top 5 ever? Both Jeremy and one of our newest coworkers, Perry, said he's absolutely top 5 ever. How? Was he was fringe top 5 of his generation. No, he's not top 5. Come on. He's not top 5. I'm getting a lot of no's in the comments. You guys agree with me. Westbrook is an empty stat. Now, there is a stat out there that in games he has triple-doubles, his win percentage for his team is like 75%, so that's pretty impressive. But for me, like, what do you do in crunch time in big games, in big moments? Playoffs, games that determine seeding, those type of things. Like, yeah, he's been unbelievable recently for the Wizards. They're the 10 seed in the East. Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I like Westbrook. He's a Hall of Famer, but top 5 ever? No way. Robert says no. Chase says yes. SG says no. Nicholas says no. Randy says top 5 at holding the ball. Ouch. No from SG. Continue to like the video if you haven't already. SG says no again. Chase says yes. Listen, just in this generation alone, Chris Paul's better. Steph Curry is better. I like Damian Lillard better than Russell Westbrook. I think people would debate that, but Dame's been more clutch. I don't think Westbrook's made the finals, to producer Jeremy's credit. I must have forgot that Kevin Durant played on that team. I mean, that's just 3 in this generation that I would for sure take over Westbrook. Steve Nash, Jay Kidd, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, the real Isaiah Thomas, not 4 years ago Isaiah Thomas. The logo, Jerry West, John Stockton. I think I just named like 10 point guards. Like, look, it doesn't mean he's not great, but top 5 all time? The Big O? Come on, Muggsy Bogues. Get out of there. Get out of here. He's not top 5. Top 10, maybe. Top 15, probably. All right, let's go to the next one here. Could the Lakers get bounced out in the play-in or the first round? Could this be an early exit for LA? Type 1 for it will be, or type 2, nah, they're going to make a run. LeBron's coming back, baby. Let us know. 1 for early exit, 2 for they will go on a playoff run. Get your votes in right now. And Chase says 1, yes, they will have an early exit. Randy says yes as well. SG says they'll have an early exit. So does Blinky. Let's see. Terrence says no, they're going on a run. ACB says early exit. Nicholas says they're going on a run. Let's see. SG says early exit. Grizz for the win from Evaldez. 1, the Warriors are going to beat them, according to Reginald. Sinai says 2, as in they're going to go on a run. So does Clint. Pretty split. Some of y'all think it's going to be an early exit. Some of y'all have belief in the LA Lakers. Producer Jeremy, where are you sitting on this one? Oh, he's pondering his thoughts. It's all on LeBron's health. I mean, isn't it always? Isn't it always? We'll see. 1, 2, get your votes in. We will have a couple of mailbags during today's live show, so use hashtag NBA, or you can super chat, and producer Jeremy will get those on screen. We got a super from earlier that we will get to during our first mailbag, which is going to be a little bit later. Got a lot of news and rumors to get into, so stay tuned for that. But you can also use hashtag NBA. But if you do super chat, it's like the fast line at Disney World. And you just skip the line, and you can ride what is it? Magic Kingdom rides first before anyone. You get your questions answered first if you super chat. So go ahead and do that if you wish to do so. All right, buckle up. If you're ready to go, give us a like on this video. We're at 28 likes. Come on. We get to 35, 40, hit that thumbs up icon, and we will get going in just a second here. Get a couple more shout outs here. SG says 1. Corey Child says they're not going to go, or that they will go on a playoff run. I already see a couple of you guys using hashtag NBA, so we will get to those later on. All right, here's what's coming up on NBA Now. It's going to be a fun show. Latest rumors and news, plus we'll kind of take a look at where things sit in the playoffs for a couple of teams with the playoffs set for next weekend. It's coming up quick. A couple of mailbags, hashtag NBA, or you can super chat to get your questions on the show. And hey, it's awards season, so who doesn't want to have some fun with that? I will certainly be predicting all of my awards just for you guys. All of that and more, and I just saw a super chat. We'll get to that during our mailbag. That's all coming up on NBA Now. Welcome into NBA Now. We've got some jerseys available for you guys at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Wanted to tell you guys about these deals before we go ahead and get into the latest around or on today's show. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. We got Steph, LeBron, Tatum, Luka, all kinds of different jerseys available just for you guys. Man, look at the Mavericks little alternate greens there. Those jerseys and a whole lot more are available for just about $100. Get a LaMelo Ball jersey. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. That link is in the comments. It is also in the description. Don't miss out on this deal. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. We start the latest NBA rumors with Victor Oladipo. Is he going to stay in Miami? We'll see, because once again, he had season-ending surgery this past just a couple of weeks ago as he shut it down and then recently just had surgery. He will not play in the playoffs. Now, he reportedly did buy about a $7 million mansion in Miami recently, so he certainly thinks he's going to be back as he is a free agent this offseason. But the injuries, yeah, they concern me. I'm just going to be honest. I have concerns long-term with Victor Oladipo. Now, if Miami feels good about his medicals and if they want to bring him back, that's fine. I would not give him a long-term contract. Since he had a major quad injury in early 2019, he's only played in 52 games since. And he's been okay, just over 40% from the field, so not very efficient. Still a good scorer, but not great. Under 18 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 4 assists. But the major problem, you can live with those numbers if he stays healthy. He can't stay healthy. 52 games in like 2+ seasons now. That's not a lot. Now, I know last year was cut, less games. It was like 65, 66 games due to COVID-19. This year had 10 less games because of the coronavirus pandemic as well. But he didn't play that much this year. Didn't play that much last year when there were games. I have injury concerns. He feels like the guard version of Boogie Cousins. We know he's talented. We know he's capable. We've seen him ball out, but he can't stay healthy now. So, do you trust him to stay healthy? I just don't know. I'm okay bringing him back on a one-year deal, but long-term, no way. Get your votes in on this one. Should the Miami Heat re-sign Victor Oladipo? Type S for sign, type P for pass. If it's more than 1 year, probably let him go. You didn't give up that much for him in that trade with the Houston Rockets. So S for sign, P for pass. Go ahead and let us know what you guys think. Quick reminder on these jerseys, chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. I love these Philadelphia alternatives, but all 30 NBA teams have jerseys available at that link below, chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. The playoffs are almost here, so we wanted to remind you guys to rep your favorite player, rep your favorite team. You can do so at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Check the description, check the comments for that link. All right, let's go to the next rumor here. Jaren Jackson, is he going to get traded this offseason? I don't think so, but it's possible. The Athletic, on one of their NBA podcasts, mentioned the possibility that this has been floated out there because he only has one more year left on his rookie deal. Now, he's really good when he plays, kind of like Victor Oladipo, right? Like, he just can't stay healthy. He's only played in 10 games this entire season. Now, he does have 1 year left on his deal, so, Memphis can certainly just play this out and just see how next year goes because he is eligible for a contract extension this offseason. But if I'm Memphis, I'm probably waiting and seeing what the deal is with Jaren Jackson, see if he can be healthy next year. Now, when he's played this year, he's played mostly off the bench. He's played okay. You can tell he's still knocking the rust off a little bit, 14.5 points, 5.5 boards, shooting about 43% from the field. I like Jackson. He's got one more year on his contract, so I think you can afford to be patient if you're Memphis. That being said, you've got a nice young core developing. You kind of want to figure out, hey, is this guy a part of the future or is he not? And if he's not, maybe you should consider trying to shop him and trying to trade him this offseason, because I guarantee you there would be some buyers for Jaren Jackson because his contract's tradable. He's still on that rookie deal, so any team trading for him wouldn't have to sacrifice too much financially. Maybe Memphis could get a first-round pick or another young piece or something like that. Subscribe to Chat Sports because we have the latest trade rumors, news, and a whole lot more when it comes to the NBA. And the playoffs are almost here. That means watch parties are just around the corner, especially come NBA Finals time. But big playoff games before then, we'll probably have watch parties as well, maybe even for the play-in tournament. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Videos almost every day around the NBA and some watch parties. Some news here. Alex Rodriguez has finally officially agreed to a deal to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves, former baseball legend, by the way. If that's you watching Anthony Edwards, he's a former Major League Baseball player. I know you had never heard of him before. Now, he does have a partner. His name is Mark Lora. He is basically a tech investor, a billionaire. So it's not like A-Rod went on this alone, but they are going to be equal partners according to Shams Charania, and full ownership will take place officially by the 2023-2024 season. So it's going to take a couple of years here. They want to kind of purchase the T-Wolves in chunks here, but they have agreed to make a purchase for $1.5 billion. So A-Rod's set to be an owner for one of the 30 NBA teams. Now, Minnesota could be an exciting team for years to come. You still have Karl-Anthony Towns. You've got D'Angelo Russell, who is finally back and healthy and playing pretty darn well. He's one of the better fourth-quarter performers in the NBA. And Anthony Edwards is one of the Rookie of the Year candidates. Both those guys averaging over 19 points. You've got some other intriguing pieces. Jarrett Culver. You've got that first-round pick this year if it stays with Minnesota. If it's not top 3, it'll go to Golden State. So Minnesota has a chance to build some real talent here, and I think they have a chance to compete. So it'll be interesting by the time, in 2023, 24, once A-Rod and new ownership comes in, if this team is competitive by that point, because obviously this year they were not. But I will say, once D'Angelo Russell came back, the Timberwolves were at least pretty entertaining and started winning a lot more games. Now, Alex Rodriguez, steroids aside, one of the greatest baseball players of all time in terms of talent. Who's your favorite athlete of all time? It could be basketball, baseball, football, college, pros, doesn't matter. Who is your favorite athlete of all time? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments section, and hey, let us know who your favorite athlete is ever, because there's a lot of quality athletes in every sport. MJ in basketball. You could go Kobe in hoops. You got Tom Brady in the NFL. Let us know who is your favorite all-time athlete. Are the COVID protocols changing? Let's talk a little coronavirus latest here on the show and how it impacts the NBA. Now, the CDC announced on Thursday that fully vaccinated people can now, even in big groups, indoor, outdoor, they can be without masks. They do not have to wear masks once they are fully vaccinated. How does that impact the NBA? Well, the NBA's protocols as of now is if you're a close contact with someone who tests positive, you're out 10 to 14 days. Reportedly, they might look to, soften those protocols just a little bit. So keep that in mind there. And I think this would be significant if you lessen the protocols and the seriousness of them. That means, if a playoff or LeBron James runs into someone with COVID and gets a negative test, he won't necessarily have to sit out 2 weeks if they decide to change their protocols. As of now, the same protocols are in place, but I think come playoff time, they might loosen those up just a little bit with the CDC making a new announcement. Here's what Shams Charania tweeted, broken this up into 2 tweets here. Sources: the NBA and NBA Players Association are discussing modifications to the health and safety protocols in light of the CDC guidance that fully vaccinated individuals do not need to wear a face mask or physically distance except in certain situations. In the meantime, current protocols remain in place. So no changes as of now, but I do think the NBA will continue to monitor and listen to the medical experts. And if the CDC is saying, hey, if you're vaccinated, you're good to go, don't need to wear a mask or anything like that, then maybe they will loosen their protocols come playoff time. Let me get some shout-outs here on who's your favorite athlete of all time. Get a few shout-outs here, and then we'll get into some Lakers stuff in just a moment. Go ahead and shout them out. Let's see here. What are you guys saying? Favorite player of all time. Thomas says Shaq. Nikola Jokic from SG. Westbrook top 10 from Road Joseph. Mike Piazza, your favorite athlete of all time from ACB. Brandon Belt from SG. That's quite an interesting one. Former Giants first baseman. Eric Cantona. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Peyton. Steve Nash. Curry. Peyton Manning. Damian Lillard. Tony Romo. Kobe. Dak Prescott. Dez. Get a couple more shout-outs here. Who is your favorite athlete of all time? Few more here. Let's see. Zlatan, Eric Cantona, Utoba Watamba, Bo Jackson from Randy, Dak Prescott from Rashard Lee, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Peyton Manning, Derek Carr, Roy Jones, Julio Jones, Shaq, Steph Curry, LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Jordan, David Wright. Continue to shout out your favorite athlete of all time. Let's get into some Lakers news and rumors. And LeBron James, well, looks like he's going to be heading back. Now, this isn't confirmed, but the report was that he probably could have played against the Rockets on Wednesday. And now, with their game against the Indiana Pacers on Saturday night, the expectation is that he will return to the floor. Now, as you Laker fans know, LeBron has missed 26 out of 28 games. Good news is he practiced earlier this week. No pain in his ankle for a few days now, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, which means King James is expected to return for the Lakers' final 2 games this upcoming weekend, and then, of course, come playoff time. Now, LeBron, while he hasn't played a full season due to injuries, he's still King James, right? He's still one of the best, if not the best player in basketball. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists in almost 34 minutes per game. And you're probably thinking, well, I feel like he hasn't been as good this year. Well, he actually has. Look at what he did last year. The assists are down a little bit this year, but overall, the numbers are pretty identical. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists a year ago, en route to leading LA to an NBA championship. Minutes pretty similar as well. LeBron James is coming back just in time for LA, which means it's time to activate playoff LeBron. It is time to activate playoff LeBron James. Remember Zero Dark 23 or whatever he used to tweet out before playoffs would start, and he wouldn't be on Twitter for 2 months. Yeah, it's about that time. Couple games left in the regular season. So this is good for the Lakers. You get LeBron back into the fold. AD's been starting to play better. You all of a sudden feel a lot better about where you sit if you are the purple and gold. Now, obviously, they're not going to have the seed that they would have wanted earlier on in the year, but LeBron James, if he's back and if that ankle truly is pain-free, then it was worth dipping down in the standings a little bit, assuming you can get into the first round and start to play some good ball and maybe even make a run back to the NBA Finals. So what do you guys think? Can the Lakers still repeat as champions despite the struggles, despite the injuries down the stretch? Type me if you think they can. If they're fully healthy, they absolutely can repeat as NBA champions. So type me down in the comments if you believe that the Lakers can repeat as NBA champions. Let's talk more injury news with the LA Lakers. Dennis Schroeder, is he set to return on Saturday as well? Well, it certainly seems to be the case on this one. He missed the first 7 games, or the past 7 games for the Lakers as he's been in the NBA's health and safety protocols due to COVID. Unclear if he tested positive or if he was just a close contact. Really hush-hush on that one, so I'm not so sure. But he did post on Instagram saying, "I'm back," and that means that looks like he's going to play come Saturday night against the Indiana Pacers, which is a really good thing. Obviously, LeBron's the priority, getting him back. But what does all this mean? It means that the Lakers, they're starting to get healthy. And Dennis Schroeder is just afterthought of this core, right? 15.5 points, dishing out 6 assists a game. He's kind of the one guy that can run the offense if LeBron is off the court or if LeBron needs to play some off ball. He can be that point guard, that floor general for LA, which is why it's been so difficult for the Lakers recently. They haven't had a guy who could really run the offense because both these guys have been out as of late. So good sign to get Dennis Schroeder back. Good sign to get LeBron James back. Here was Dennis Schroeder's Instagram post saying, "I'm back." So all indications are that he will play against Indiana on Saturday night before the Lakers wrap up their season on Sunday and then find out what their playoff fate ends up being. But the good news for LA, better late than never. They are finally getting healthy. Now, are they getting healthy fast enough? Because typically you would like to have a couple of weeks, get some games under your belt. You may only have 1 or 2 games before a potential play-in tournament / first-round series, which not the most ideal, but better now than Game 3 in the first round, right? You get Schroeder back, you get LeBron back, you have AD that seems to be in full swing now as well. He's had a couple of big games as of late. That's kind of your core. LeBron, AD, Schroeder's probably your third guy, and then the depth pieces start to really, fill out that roster, right? Kyle Kuzma doesn't have to do as much. Caruso doesn't have to do as much. It's kind of a trickle-down effect. They're getting healthy, and they're getting healthy at the exact right time. If you don't like this video, then you don't like NBA basketball. Give us a like, baby. If you don't know who I'm imitating, then you just don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The Kings broadcaster, he gets fired up. If you don't like this video, then you don't like NBA basketball. Give us a thumbs up if you love the NBA. Let's talk playoff picture for the Los Angeles Lakers. Are they going to avoid the play-in tournament? They have a couple games left on Saturday and on Sunday at Indiana, at New Orleans. 2 teams that the Lakers should be able to take care of business against. Now, LA still sitting a half game back of Portland, who's currently the 6th seed, and a full game back of the Mavericks, who are currently the 5th seed. We'll talk those scenarios with those 3 teams later on in just a couple of moments, but let's just kind of see where everything sits in the Western Conference with just a couple of games to go across the board. Jazz 50-20, Suns 49-21. Those are going to be your top 2 seeds in a certain order. 3 and 4 could fluctuate. Clippers and Nuggets on that one. And then it starts to get interesting. So you got Dallas at 41-29. They are a half game up of Portland, who is at 41-30, and then the Lakers are at 40-30. 8 through 10 are set in a certain order. The Spurs are locked in at the 10 seed. 8 and 9 with Golden State and Memphis. That could fluctuate, obviously. They play each other on the final game of the season. But the Lakers are trying to avoid the play-in tournament. And to avoid the play-in tournament, you got to be in the top 6. It's going to be hard. The path to get there is not very easy for the Los Angeles Lakers because they have to win out, and then they have to get some help from the Mavericks and or the Trailblazers as well. That's what has to happen for the purple and gold. So here are the scenarios. Number 1, the Lakers must win their last 2 games. That's non-negotiable because they don't have the tiebreakers over Portland or Dallas, which means they got to beat Indiana, they got to beat the Pelicans. They also need one of the following 2 to at least get up to the 6th seed. They need the Blazers to lose to Denver in their last game, or they need the Mavs to lose their final 2 games against Toronto and Minnesota. That second piece seems unlikely. It's a pretty good chance Mavs are at least winning one of those games. Toronto and Minnesota are trying to lose at this point. So, really, you got to win out, and you need Portland to lose their final game against the Nuggets, which the Nuggets may not have anything to play for, depending on what happens with their game and the Clippers game this upcoming evening. So, here's the scenario. If the Lakers are in the play-in tournament, this is the format. They'll be the 7th seed, and they'll play either Golden State or Memphis. One of those teams will be the 8th seed. And then if they win, they move on. They get to be the 7th seed of the playoffs. If they lose, they play the winner of the 9 and 10 seed for the final playoff spot. So there is actually a chance that the Lakers could still miss the playoffs. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but chances are they're going to be in that play-in tournament, and that is, it's a little dicey considering you're a defending NBA champion. You do not want to be in that if you can avoid it, but clock's ticking. That's what happens when you have injuries. So predict it for me. What seed will the Lakers get? Will they get the number 5 seed, the number 6 seed, or the number 7 seed? It can only be one of those 3. So let me know what you think. I think it's going to be the 7th seed. I wouldn't trust the Mavs to lose to 2 bad teams, and I think Portland's going to come out and play well against Denver. So I'm going to type 7, but maybe they'll sneak up and get the 6th seed. Let's get into some Golden State Warriors news and rumors. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Juan Toscano-Anderson officially gets a new deal. Now, we alluded to this last week that this was going to be in the works, but now it is official. They have signed the journeyman to a brand new 2-year deal, including next year being fully guaranteed at the veteran's minimum salary. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. He has become a legitimate contributor for this Golden State team, and I think he can be one next year when Golden State is probably more likely to be a title contender if a couple of things bounce their way and if Klay Thompson can stay healthy. Now, JTA is fired up, man. Said been up since 5:30. This was on Thursday. Said too excited to sleep. I mean, this guy is a true journeyman. This is a great story. This is a story of perseverance. This is a story of not giving up. Reminds me of P.J. Tucker a lot, a player coming out of Texas who played overseas for several years, finally got a chance in the NBA, and has put together a really solid NBA career. Maybe JTA is that next guy, now at 28 years old, finally getting his chance. 2015, he was an undrafted free agent coming out of Marquette. He played in the top league in Mexico for 3 years, the Liga Nacional, through 2018. Came to the G League with the Santa Cruz Warriors, spent 2.5, 3 years there before getting a 2-way contract with the Warriors, and now getting a fully guaranteed contract for next season. Bravo, Juan Toscano-Anderson. That is a true grind to go from undrafted, the top Mexican basketball league, to the NBA and being a contributor on a playoff team. Yeah, that's a job well done by JTA. Like this video if you love this story. Who doesn't love this story? This is a fantastic story for Juan Toscano-Anderson for the NBA. I am here for this, and I've loved watching him play this year, so give us a big thumbs up if you agree. Look, the numbers don't jump off the page, but the efficiency does. 58% from the field, 41% from 3, by the way. He's a legitimate NBA rotation player. Defends pretty well. He's scrappy. He can bring the ball up the floor if you need him to. He's never going to be a star by any means, but he's going to make a little bit of money. He's going to put together a little bit of an NBA career, I believe, which is a lot more than he probably even thought just a couple of years ago, which is absolutely fantastic. I hope the best for him. I hope he continues to improve as a player. Now, part of this deal, or a part of this news, is that Jordan Bell replaces him as one of the 2-way contracts. So he gets elevated, JTA does, on the active 15-man roster. Jordan Bell, he gets a 2-way deal, so he'll play these final couple of games for the Golden State Warriors, but the focus, of course, is on Juan Toscano-Anderson. Could the Warriors trade for Karl-Anthony Towns this offseason? We'll talk about it here on Golden State Warriors today. The report from The Athletic is that the T-Wolves could shop Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, let's make this clear. Minnesota is not actively shopping Towns, at least to my knowledge. Now, will they take calls? Will they be willing to listen? If someone overwhelms them with an offer, would they consider it? I think so. I mean, I wouldn't put Karl-Anthony Towns in the category of players that are untouchable in the NBA. He's not like Steph, where there's no way the Warriors would ever trade Steph. He's really good, but most players are tradable. Now, John Krasinski, not to get confused with the actor, of course, this one, NBA reporter of The Athletic, had this to say on a recent podcast. Excuse me. The team that I would watch is Golden State. That's the team that maybe needs veterans around Steph and not their young pieces, and maybe lottery picks or something like that. So what's he saying there? What's he saying is that, look, the Golden State Warriors, they have young assets. They have young pieces that they can give away. You've gotten Andrew Wiggins. You've got that pick from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you got Klay Thompson coming back next year. So you don't need these 23, 24-year-olds. Build around Steph. You got Klay coming back. You get another big piece like Karl-Anthony Towns. Hey, that's big news. This is a big offseason coming up for Bob Myers, for Steve Kerr, for this front office. We've seen how Steph has played this year. You got to go all in next year if you're Golden State. And if you get Karl-Anthony Towns to pair with Steph and Klay, that's exciting. very, very exciting. He's not a great defender, but he's a 25-10 guy who can space the floor as a true big, good shooter both from the outside and the inside. Karl-Anthony Towns is a heck of a player, and he's become better as a distributor as well. 4.5 assists for a big man. Very, very impressive there. We'll see what happens. I don't think Minnesota is necessarily actively shopping him, like I said, but again, you throw him 3 first-round picks and a nice young player, it could happen. Now, they're not going to take Andrew Wiggins back. You would have to send another player in return, but hey, who knows? Maybe Kelly Oubre in a sign-and-trade. There's certainly some options for Golden State if they want to pursue a Karl-Anthony Towns trade. Now, maybe he's not the most likely, but there's other names out there. Name a player the Warriors should trade for this offseason. I want to hear it from you guys in the comments. Maybe a Bradley Beal. Kristaps Porzingis has been floated out there. I would not do that with his injury history, but if I'm missing somebody, go ahead and name a player that they should trade for. Let's go ahead and discuss the playoff picture for the Golden State Warriors. They have 2 games remaining against the Pelicans and against the Grizzlies, both at home. And, of course, they are tied with Memphis for the number 8 seed as we sit right now. And just to add this note as well, they've split with Memphis in the regular season. What does that mean? It doesn't matter what they do against the Pelicans tonight. Tonight's game, meaningless. It doesn't matter. If they lose tonight and Memphis wins their second to last game, it doesn't matter. You still just have to beat Memphis the last game. If you win tonight and Memphis loses tonight, doesn't matter. You still have to beat Memphis the last game. Otherwise, you're going to be the 9 seed because the winner of Warriors-Grizzlies in a couple of days is going to have the tiebreaker. So if I'm Golden State tonight against the Pelicans, I'm resting my starters. I'm not playing Steph Curry tonight. I'm giving him all the fuel I possibly can for that Grizzlies game on Sunday. What do you guys think? Should the Warriors rest their starters tonight? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I think it's a no-brainer. I would not play at least Steph Curry in this game. Get your votes in. Should the Warriors rest their starters against the Pelicans? And just to harp on this point even more, don't play Steph. There's no upside to winning this game. Literally zero. You win this game and the Grizzlies lose, I want to reiterate that point, you still have to beat the Grizzlies in the last game. Because if they beat you, you're tied again in the standings, and they have the tiebreaker because they will have won the season series. So I would rest Steph tonight. He's been unbelievable, but he's also had to play a lot of minutes. He's had to carry this team all year long. And by the way, that's coming off a year in which he was banged up last year. I'm not saying he's running out of gas. I think he's got plenty left in the tank. That being said, I'd rather have him as fresh as possible for Sunday. I'm just saying, because the key here is getting the 8 seed, because here's why. Here's the play-in tournament format. Sure, if you're the 9 seed, you can still make the playoffs, but you have to win 2 games in a row to do that. If you're the 8 seed, you get 2 cracks at it. You beat the Lakers or whoever else is the 7 seed, Mavericks or Blazers, that's not determined yet. You're in. You're the 7 seed. If you lose that game, you get another chance. You play the loser of the 9 and 10 seed. But if you fall down to that 9 seed, you got to win 2 games in a row. That's a little bit of a tougher task for any team at the end of the day. So again, I would sit Golden State or your starters tonight and go all in on that Grizzlies game, because this is where the standings sit. You can't get up to 7 and you can't fall down to 10. And just one final time, winning tonight doesn't matter. It's going to come down to that Memphis game on Sunday, because the winner of that will have the tiebreaker. If both finish 38 and 34, it doesn't matter who won the games earlier this season. It just matters who wins on Sunday. So we'll see what happens. Rest your starters, Steve Kerr. Do the right thing and go all in on that Memphis game in a couple of days. What do you guys think? What seed will the Warriors get? Type 8 for the A seed, 9 for the 9 seed. I'm going to go 8. I think they beat Memphis at home in that final game of the season. The Grizzlies are young. They're inexperienced. I think Steph Curry gets it done, and I think they will get the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. Let's get into some Boston Celtics rumors and news. And Kendrick Perkins went on Sports Nation, and he said it's time to make some changes in Boston. He says that the Celtics should trade Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker this offseason, and he basically said that outside of Jason Tatum, outside of Jaylen Brown, everyone should be tradable. Those are the only guys who are untouchable in Kendrick Perkins' mind. And look, it's been a tough year. Certainly there's been injuries, there's been COVID issues, but I think there's something to the point he's making. I think you have to consider shaking things up if you are Danny Ainge. This year has been a disappointment. Again, I get it. They've been hit by COVID, probably harder than most teams in the NBA. You've had injuries as well, and you just can't catch a break. Jaylen Brown's not going to play in the playoffs. That's certainly a tough situation. Here's what Perk had to say. Longtime Celtic, of course. Time to get rid of Kemba Walker. It's time to move on from Marcus Smart. I'm not saying Danny Ainge should lose his job, but this offseason he should make some moves involving every player on that team if your name is not Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. He's absolutely right. The Celtics got to make moves. Kemba Walker, it's a bad contract. Now, it's not Boston's fault. Knee issues have flamed up on him and have not been able to go away. But that's the reality of the situation. If you can move that contract, you should absolutely do it if you're Danny Ainge. And now, maybe it is time to move on from Marcus Smart. I love Marcus Smart. He's the heart and soul of this team, but at the end of the day, he's a defensive-first, six-man type of player. If you can move him to get a more valuable asset, you absolutely do it if you're the Boston Celtics. And Danny Ainge has acknowledged, hey, we're going to do some things this summer. We got to change things up. He said, I think that we will definitely be looking to make some changes in the offseason. Obviously, can't go into any of those kind of details, but yeah, there will be changes. How significant? I don't know yet. We will see. So the Celtics GM agreeing with Perk there, saying, yeah, we probably need to make some changes around here. Now, Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart are two of your better guards on this team, but they're also players that you should be willing to part with if that means you can get better at other spots. I'm not saying it's, you just punt these guys out the door and you just let them go for nothing, but I'm shopping Marcus Smart. I'm shopping Kemba Walker if I am Danny Ainge, and I'm seeing what I can get out there on the market, and both guys have had injury concerns this year as well, so that's obviously a little bit of a concern long term. Who's out the door? You think both these guys are just one or, maybe neither. Type KW for Kemba Walker, type MS for Marcus Smart, type B for both. I think at least one of these guys is gone. I don't know which one it'll be, but I think Danny Ainge will mix it up this offseason. Get your votes in, KW, MS, or B. Let's talk free agency for the Boston Celtics here by Chat Sports. Will Boston re-sign Evan Fournier? He is obviously a free agent this summer, and he was the trade deadline prize for Boston. Gave up a couple of second-round picks for him and Jeff Teague, who cares about Teague, in that deal. I would like to bring Evan Fournier back. I think that bringing him back is smart, and you can go over the salary cap to do so because they have his bird rights, which means they can focus on other players first, fill up that salary cap, and then sign Fournier on top of that. I think it makes sense. Look, if you lose him, it's not a huge deal. You only give up a couple of second-round picks, but this is a guy who I think can be a really good contributor in Boston for a while here. I'd give him 3-4 years, $18, $20 million per year. He's a good shooter. He's a good scorer. He can ISO a little bit. He's an off-ball type of guy where he can be a secondary ball handler. He can catch and shoot 41% from three, and we've started to see him have some good games for the Celtics here, but he hasn't been healthy. I mean, he got hit with COVID as well. It's been a lot of that this whole season for the Boston Celtics. I think they should re-sign him, though. I would bring back Evan Fournier. Now, I don't know how much I'd get him. I don't know if I would give him 4 or 5 years. Maybe could you get him for 3 years? 3 years and $55 million, 3 years, $60 million, something like that. I think he's going to be in that $17 to $20 million range because he can really score and he can really shoot, and that's just what guys cost these days, especially when they're still in their primes, which is what Evan Fournier is. If I'm Boston, I would bring him back, and to me, this is the ideal Celtics offseason. Number one, find a trade partner for Kemba Walker. Get him out of there just because the injuries have piled up, and I think we've seen his best. Sign or trade for a third star. Trade for someone, maybe it's part of a Kemba trade. Maybe you can get a meeting with Kawhi Leonard if he opts out of his player option. We'll see. Get someone in there to pair with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then re-sign Evan Fournier as your sixth-man flamethrower. 18 points off the bench, something like that. I think that is an ideal offseason if you're Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens to kind of maximize this roster moving forward. That is what I would do. That is what I would try to do at least. We know Danny Ainge has been reluctant to making trades in the past, but maybe this is the offseason he finally does something big when it comes to the Boston Celtics. So hopefully Evan Fournier is back, because I think he's a piece that can help you win. Should Boston re-sign Fournier? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I've made it clear I would like to bring him back, but if you disagree, you of course can type N down in the comment section. Y for yes or N for no when it comes to Evan Fournier. Get your votes in on this one. You can get a couple of shout-outs here. Y for yes, N for no for Evan Fournier. Chase Graff says yes. Oh, man, let's see. Sebastian says yes. No one says yes. ACB says yes. Alex says yes. Let's see here. Robert says yes. Curry from Gabby's not sure what that's about. Jaren says yes. Going to the Lakers from Nicholas. Juana says yes. Nola says yes. Corey says yes. We'll take a look at the Celtics playoff picture in just a few moments here. No brainer from Randy. He says yes. Big Up Rob says yes. No one says why. Let's see. Yes and big, please. Get a big. Yes, I agree. The Celtics need to get a big. There is no doubt about that. They just have to get a big. Let's see. KJW says yes. What does Miami need to get back to a championship caliber team? Well, we'll get into a mailbag shortly, Caleb, but Miami, they could be a sneaky contender this year. I would not rule that out by a long shot. Let's see here. Will he want to come back is the question. I think he'd want to come back if they pay him well. Got to change the name there, Jeremy, on that team card. No one says yes. Juan says yes. Let's see. Make Curry on the stream. Yes, stream Curry. Okay. All right, we're going to talk a little Celtics playoff situation in just a moment, so go ahead and stay tuned for that. The Celtics playoff picture, let's discuss it here on NBA Now. As of now, hey, they've clinched. Number 7 seed in the East, which means they are going to be in the play-in tournament. They're going to host either the Hornets or the Indiana Pacers, depending on what happens over the next couple of games for both of those teams. Boston does have a couple of regular season games left at Minnesota, at the New York Knicks, but they are locked into the number 7 seed. If you're asking me, Boston should want Indiana. I don't want to mess with LaMelo Ball. I know what that guy can do on any given night. I would rather take my chances with the Indiana Pacers, who have been playing better as of late, but not as talented of a team as the Hornets. So you look at the remaining games for these three teams. We already mentioned Boston, at Minnesota, at the New York Knicks. The Hornets at the New York Knicks, at Washington, the Wizards, and then the Pacers at L.A., and then at Toronto. So I actually think that you have a decent chance to play the Pacers because Toronto's tanking right now, and LA, yeah, they're starting to get healthy, but that's a winnable game for Indiana. So we'll see what happens. I think Boston would be in a better situation if they played the Indiana Pacers. So who will play Boston in the play-in tournament? Type H for the Hornets, type P for the Pacers. Get your votes in on this one. H for the Hornets or P for the Pacers. I think it's probably going to be the Hornets, but I hope it's the Pacers for Boston's sake. Now, you look at the Eastern Conference standings here, how things sit as of now. The Pacers are the Sixers on top, 47-23. Nets and Bucks right behind them. The Hawks, Heat, and Knicks are kind of sandwiched there in the middle, 4 through 6. And then Boston at 35-35 sits at the number 7 seed, and they are awaiting to see who they play in the play-in tournament. Again, it'll either be Charlotte or it will be Indiana. Washington cannot get up to the number 8 seed. They need to win a game or get a loss from Chicago to clinch a playoff spot. Here's the play-in tournament format. Boston's the number 7 seed, so they'll get 2 cracks at making the playoffs. If they win their first game, they're locked in. They're the number 7 seed. If they lose, they will play the winner of the 9 and 10 seed, and then the winner of that game, the loser of 7-8 and the winner versus 9-10 will get the final playoff spot. That is the formula for the play-in tournament in both the East and the Western Conference. So that's how things sit. Hopefully for Boston's sake, they will get to play Indiana and they can just win that game and move on. But let's face it, without Jaylen Brown, with the way this team's trending right now, it's probably going to be a tough road for the Boston Celtics to make the NBA playoffs, or to make a run in the NBA playoffs, obviously. That's how they sit. They're locked in to the number 7 seed in the Eastern Conference. All right, shout out your favorite player in the comments, and then we're going to do a little bit of mailbag action. So go ahead and shout out your favorite player. Let's see here. Favorite player. What about the Charlotte Hornets, Calvin says? They got LaMelo Ball, man. That makes them dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Let's see. LaMelo will be best ball brother until LiAngelo comes back. He's bad. He's just bad. Miles Bridges! You a fan of the Hornets announcer? He's a beast. Joel Embiid from Chase. Juan says LeBron James. Michael Jordan from Gabby's. King James from YouTube J. Michael Jordan. We got Joel Embiid from Chase. Steph Curry from 4Hype. LeBron from Triple Face. LaMelo Ball from Corshon. Michael Jordan. Curry is my favorite. Gabri's, you're not going to get me to say it. I see what you're trying to do there. Luka Doncic from Boan. Shout out your favorite player, and while you're doing that, it is finally mailbag time. Lots of news and rumors we had to cover, but we will get to your questions, so use hashtag NBA, or you can super chat to get your questions on the show. Hashtag NBA or super chat, and we will answer your questions on today's video, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So go ahead and get them in there. I think we had a couple of super chats too, Jeremy, so we can start with those from earlier, and then we'll get this party started. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So hashtag NBA, or you can super chat. A couple more while we're doing it. Let's not open up with that, Jeremy. That's just I was just signifying that's the sponsor for the segment there. We'll get to that later. Let's see here. Grizz is the 8th seed. Interesting. I think it'll be Golden State. All right, mailbag time. Let's get into it. Harrison Graham here on NBA Now by Chat Sports, and it is mailbag time. Hashtag NBA or super chat to get your questions on the show, and I'm going to answer as many as I can. We'll start with some super chats. Sebastian Perez with the super. Can the Celtics upset the Nets in the first round? Not without Jaylen Brown. I mean, let's be realistic here. I could sit up here and be like, yeah, man, the Celtics, they're a playoff team, right? Come playoff time, they're a different team. Never say never, but without Jaylen Brown, they're not playing that well even when he was there. This just isn't their year for whatever reason. A lot of COVID issues, a lot of injury issues. I just don't see and view the Celtics as a team that can make a deep playoff run. So let me know if you agree or disagree, but I just don't think that that's going to be the case. Sebastian's just ripping me with supers. We appreciate it. Danny Ainge should trade Marcus Smart and re-sign Evan Fournier. I'm definitely down for that. Not going to dwell on this one for too long. Trade Smart, get an asset for him, re-sign Evan Fournier, who's a better offensive player. Sebastian, rapid fire on today's mailbag. What does Danny Ainge need to do this offseason? If you want to pull up that list logo of my Celtics offseason plan, Jeremy, we could certainly show that here on this video. I would trade Kemba Walker, sign or trade for a third star, re-sign Evan Fournier. That's what I would try to do. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult to move Kemba's contract, but that is what I would try to do. Gabri's with the super chat. Anyone want to come over for a sleepover in Curry? I don't know what you're trying to say there. We appreciate your money. Hey, I'll hang out with Steph Curry anytime. We can cheer some beers or something. Big Steph Curry guy. Izzy World, what percentage would you give the Dallas Mavericks to make the Western Conference Finals? To make the Western Conference Finals, 10, 15% chance. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I think they match up well with Denver, who they have a good chance of playing in the first round. Depending on when you're watching this, you may already know who they are going to play in the first round. And then if you face Utah in the second round, yeah, they're the 1 seed, but they don't feel like a dominant 1 seed. So we'll see. 10% chance. Monty Python next up. Should the Celtics fire Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens? Oh, baby. You know what? I don't really think so. I like Danny Ainge. I like Brad Stevens. Have there been some missteps, especially from Ainge? Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He had some opportunities to upgrade this roster, didn't do it. He didn't sign and trade Gordon Hayward for Miles Turner for whatever reason. I thought that was a bad move, but they've done a lot of good together. This duo hasn't won a title together, but I think they can. I just think something's missing, and they got to figure out what it is. It's a big offseason coming up for the Boston Celtics. What do you guys think is the missing piece for Boston? Get your votes in on this one. I don't really know. I think you need a big for sure. A big that can score, ideally. That's what you need. But you may need another perimeter defender, too. We'll have to wait and see what Danny Ainge does this offseason. But let us know what you guys think. What's the missing piece for the Boston Celtics? Reginald Banks, Hawks are the dark horse team in the East, not getting enough credit from the media. Hey, I like the Hawks. Nate McMillan, he's earned that coaching job. I think he'll get that head coaching gig permanently this offseason. Trae Young's playing well. They can't defend, but they're like a poor man's Phoenix Suns back in the day with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. They can really score. How far can they go? I think they could win a series. They're not going to win 2 series, but I do think they are a team that could make some noise come playoff time. YouTube J, what is the Lakers' trade targets for this offseason? I mean, look, Bradley Beal is always the name people are going to throw out there. It's going to be hard to get his contract. We'll certainly do a trade targets video on our Lakers channel. You see the link below, youtube.com/LakersTV. Let me ponder that one a little more. I think there's some players that they could show some interest in. Davison Quick, can the Sixers handle the Heat if they get into a 7-game series? That's going to be a tough matchup for Philadelphia. Look, we saw Miami beat them pretty good the other night by 12 points. The Heat are not a team you want to face if you are at the top of the East, whether you're Milwaukee, who we saw the Heat beat last year, Philadelphia, Brooklyn. The Heat are the one team down there lower in the standings that can make some real noise. We saw them make the finals last year as a 4 seed. It would not shock me if they went on another run. I think the Sixers could beat them. But would I put money on it? Not necessarily. I would not touch that series if they played each other. SG 2021, do you think Steph Curry will break Ray Allen's 3-point record? Does he mean in a season, career? He for sure will career-wise if he hasn't already. He's getting very close if he hasn't. I think Steph is the greatest shooter I've ever seen. I think he'll set every 3-point record there is. So, yeah, I definitely think that's going to happen. By the way, we have some team channels here at Chat Sports, and you should go subscribe. We've got a Lakers channel. The link's down below, youtube.com/LakersTV. We just crossed 35,000 subscribers. Golden State Warriors today is growing like crazy, almost at 17K. You can help us get there by going to youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Dallas Mavericks today at almost 13,000 subs, youtube.com/MavsTV, and then our Boston Celtics channel, Celtics Today, youtube.com/CelticsTV, just over 5,000 subscribers. Hey, help us out. If you're a fan of these teams, go subscribe to those channels, and we can continue to grow here at Chat Sports and put out more videos just for you guys. Sadie Laker, how many more titles will LeBron win with the Lakers? That's a good question, Sadie. I'm probably going to say, how about 1? And I don't think it'll be this year. I don't think the Lakers are winning it this year. Now, I'll never bet against LeBron. He's the king after all. He's by far the best player of his generation, arguably the greatest of all time. I would still lean MJ, but it's close. I could win 1 more title with the Lakers, and then that'll be it. I think that'll be the last title he wins. So 1 more, but I don't think it'll be this year. If you disagree with me, if you think the Lakers will repeat this year, get your votes in. Type Y for yes, you do think they will. Type N if you don't. I just think the path is too difficult now that they might have to be in the play-in tournament. So Y for yes, N for no. Will the Lakers repeat as NBA champions? Get subscribed to Chat Sports because with the playoffs almost here, live watch parties are just around the corner. Don't miss any of those, and don't miss any of our coverage throughout the playoffs and on into the offseason. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV, and we will have you guys covered all season and offseason long when it comes to the NBA. So hit that big red button and subscribe today at YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Juan, who do you think the Cavs should draft? Probably land at 5 to 9. Who was that, producer Jeremy? Kuminga from where? Who is he? The G League guy. I don't know, Juan. Not a guard. You need wings and bigs if you're Cleveland. You got Garland. You got Sexton. Cunningham would be interesting, but he's not going to fall that low. The kid from Duke. Jalen, is it Jalen Johnson? Is that his name? I think that's his name. He could be an interesting target. One of those guys. I think you need a perimeter defender. That is what Cleveland needs. Robert Bruce, hey, Harrison and Jeremy, a lot of dissension on the team between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Do you think that they should split one of them up in a trade package for 3 first-round picks? Look, if you don't think they can coexist, then, you could certainly take calls, right? There's no harm in doing that. I don't think they would move Tatum. I really don't. I think it would take a lot for them to move Brown. Maybe it's possible. I don't think it's super likely. But if they did trade one of these guys, I think it would be Jaylen Brown. Scion, who won the Powell and Gary Trent trade between the Raptors and Blazers? Good question. I think we'll know by the start of next season because Norman Powell's a free agent. After this year, we'll see how he plays with the Blazers in the playoffs and how far they go and if they bring him back. If they don't, then the Raptors probably won that trade. If they go on a run, he plays well, and they bring him back, then maybe they won that trade. But maybe both teams as well. They've both played well with their new teams. Carl Jones, should the Lakers start Andre Drummond in the playoffs? Oh, boy. I'm going to take a drink for this one. Oh, man. I'd probably bring him off the bench. Energy guy off the bench. He's played fairly well, but they haven't won a lot with him. His plus-minus isn't great. He's just not a great defender. He puts up numbers, but he's just not a winning player. I don't know if that's all his fault. I don't know if it's the injuries to the other guys. I'd probably bring him off the bench. But Frank Vogel will mix and match. We'll see what he does come playoff time. Shout out your favorite team in the comments. Let us know who your favorite NBA team, who you are repping. We want to hear from you guys. Shout out your favorite team down in the comments, and we'll interact with you guys down in the comment section. So let us know who is your favorite NBA team. I'm a Mavericks fan. Full disclosure. Hoping they put it all together come playoff time. Let us know who your favorite NBA team is. Fellow Pelicans fan, who should the Pellies try to trade for in the offseason? I don't know. They got to decide what they're doing with Lonzo Ball first. He's a restricted free agent, so maybe you sign and trade him somewhere else. You could use a wing type of player if Zion's kind of going to be your point forward type. Honestly, a guy like Paul George would fit really well. I don't think the Clippers will trade him, but that type of player, a long perimeter defender who can also score, would be a lot of fun next to Zion, next to Brandon Ingram. So they need more defense. They don't stop anybody. That's their biggest problem. Ricky Boucher, looking forward to seeing Klay Thompson in Space Jam. Sure. I'm not a huge Space Jam guy. Cancel me if you want, but I'm not big in the Space Jam game. It's fine. Space Jam 2, it looks whatever. I'll probably go watch it, but I'd be lying if I said I was super interested. Appreciate the question, Rookie, but I'm kind of like, I don't really care on that one. So let me know if you guys disagree. Shout out your favorite team in the comments, and let's get some shout outs here. And I need some fresh water, so I'm going to go ahead and send that into our message here. Need some water here. Get some shout outs here. Let's see. Appreciate that, Marshy Marsh. Let's see. Pacers, your favorite team. Wow. Mavs and Lakers from Rashard Lee. That's quite the combo. Curry. We got Lakers from Monster, Bulls from Bears Central. Hey, Justin Fields saying he's going for that starting job today. You Bears fans in there. If you know, you know. Raptors from Scion. Lakers from Monster. Jazz from ACB. Bears Central says Bulls. Mavs and Lakers from Rashard Lee. I don't know how I feel about it. Producer Jeremy, can you be a fan of the Mavs and the Lakers? I don't know. Yeah, East and a West team. Yeah, you can do that. They're both in the West though. I can't get over Andrew Bynum just knocking. I can't get over Andrew Bynum knocking JJ Barea out. Just can't get over it. So I don't know. Shout out your favorite team, and we'll do some more Q&A later on in the show. But hey, let's predict some awards, shall we? Welcome into NBA Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. On today's show, we are going to predict who will win all of the top NBA awards. We'll do MVP at the end, so stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to save the best for last. We'll do some of the other lower tier awards first, and then we'll get to MVP at the end of the show. By the way, what is your favorite NBA award? I want to hear it from you guys. Favorite NBA award that is out there. Obviously, MVP gets a lot of focus. I think my favorite one, though, I think it's Most Improved Player, because you get to see these guys who took major leaps from last year to the current year, and you're like, wow, that guy's averaging 22 now. He was averaging 12 points last year. So I think that's my favorite award, but let us know, what is your favorite award in the NBA? We start with Defensive Player of the Year, and these are kind of your top three guys, and really it's the top two. I just threw Giannis in there. He won it last year, and he's had another good year defensively, but Rudy Gobert and Ben Simmons are certainly the top two candidates. And while Simmons can guard more positions, especially off ball, I'm going to go with Rudy Gobert. And I think the Jazz continuing to win games without Donovan Mitchell is a big reason why I'm going to go with Rudy Gobert. He blocks shots. He can switch on screens. He's a great rebounder, as you guys know. He's very versatile. He's a rare 7-footer that can get stuck on point guards and hold his own. That's pretty unique. Is he perfect? No, but I think I would lean Rudy Gobert. The betting odds have him as the huge favorite. I don't think he should be the huge favorite. I think Simmons is right there, but I would lean with Gobert out of Utah. So what do you guys think? Who should win the Defensive Player of the Year? Type RG for Rudy Gobert. Type BS for Ben Simmons. Get your votes in, RG or BS. I love Simmons. He's played well this year, but I would lean barely in favor of Rudy Gobert. Most Improved Player, my favorite award. I'm not even going to list candidates because it's not even close. Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. You can't stay enough by what this guy has done for this organization. He is clearly the most improved player in the NBA. He is a second-tier MVP candidate with how he has played this year. He's always been a decent pro, a good player, but he's become a top 10 NBA player, at least this year. That is pretty tough to do, to go from a good rotation piece to an MVP type of caliber season. That's what he's done this year. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 46% from the field, over 40% from three. And it's not just the numbers. He's got the Knicks back in the playoffs for the first time in 8 seasons. That's doing something. That says a lot for a franchise who has been in shambles for the better part of a decade, and even longer than that, outside of a couple of decent years with Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire. So Julius Randle is my most improved player. I think he's a top 5, 6, 7 MVP type of candidate as well. He's improved as a distributor, 6 assists per game. I'm a big fan of his. I think the Knicks need to keep him long term. He is the clear runaway for most improved player. Jeremy Grant's had a nice year in Detroit, but it ain't translating to wins the way it is with New York. If you love the NBA, well, subscribe for more videos. We hit you guys up with live shows every single Friday and videos throughout the week. You see the link below, youtube.com/chatsportstv, the latest NBA news, rumors, trades, offseason, free agency, draft, games, everything. We do it all. youtube.com/chatsportstv. Sixth man of the year, and we got 2 players from one team in the mix here. You got Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles, and then Jalen Brunson, who's really put together a nice season for the Dallas Mavericks. I think in future years he will get some real love for this award. I think it's a little early for him, though. I'm going to go with the flamethrower, Jordan Clarkson. The guy had like a 40-burger the other night. He's been phenomenal for this Utah Jazz team. And I mentioned that Gobert has had to step up even more without Donovan Mitchell. Well, how about Jordan Clarkson? He's had to do the same thing. He's had to help carry the load offensively while Mitchell has been out, and they've been able to keep that number 1 seed from Phoenix. I like Clarkson a lot. I think he's become a really good player. Not the most efficient guy in the world, but a guy that can give you 30 on any given night. That's very valuable coming off the bench, especially come playoff time. I got to give him the edge for 6th Man of the Year. Obviously, Joe Ingles is a hell of a player as well for Utah, which, hey, maybe there's a reason they're the top seed in the West. They have all these players up for these awards. Who would you pick to win it? Type JC for Jordan Clarkson. Type JI for Joe Ingles. Get your votes in right now, JC or JI. Let's go to Coach of the Year, and I think there's a lot of worthy candidates. You got Monty Williams of the Phoenix Suns. They've gone from off the grid to the number 2 seed in the West, potentially number 1 come playoff time. We'll see. Tom Thibodeau with the New York Knicks. I think he's done a great job with that team. Quinn Snyder for the Jazz. They just keep winning. They're going to win the West regular season, it looks like. He's done a great job. Doc Rivers. I'm not a huge Doc guy, but he's had Philadelphia atop the East the entire season. Pretty impressive. They've been underachieving in recent years. And then Michael Malone for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray goes down. This team doesn't skip a beat. I think he's done a heck of a job with that team over several years, but especially this year as well. That being said, I'm riding the Knicks train, baby. Give me Tom Thibodeau. This one's going to be closer. Some of these other awards, it's pretty obvious with the betting odds who's going to win, but I think 2 or 3 of these guys could win. I think Thibodeau could win. I think Monty Williams could win. I think Quinn Snyder could win as well. I'm going to give it to Tibbs, though, and you know why? Because the 5 seasons prior to him landing in New York, this team was a joke. 21-45 last year, 17-65 the year before. You see the records: 29-53, 31-51, 32-50. This team has been a laughingstock in the NBA for several years. All of a sudden, Tom Thibodeau comes to town, and they're a rugged defensive team that's competing for a number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's my Coach of the Year. It's not like the Knicks are loaded with talent. They have nice young pieces, but it's not like they hired him and pulled to Brooklyn and got James Harden and Kevin Durant. Like that's not what happened. So Tom Thibodeau's my guy. It was a questionable hire for many at the time, but it's proven to be a good one for the New York Knicks. What do you think? Who do you guys think should win Coach of the Year? I could go Monty Williams or Tom Thibodeau. I think what Tibbs has done with the Knicks has been a little more impressive because Phoenix is way more talented than New York. But get your votes in. Who do you guys think should win Coach of the Year in the NBA? Now, we have partnered with the Newsbreak app. Wanted to spread this to you guys because you should download the app at chatsports.com/newsbreak. No more getting newspapers. No more downloading 20 apps so you can read, sports and news articles from 20 different publications. It gets aggregated all into one feed on your phone. You download the app at chatsports.com/newsbreak. It syncs up with your zip code, and you can get caught up with local news, politics, food, pop culture, sports content, videos, including some from us here at Chat Sports. Download the Newsbreak app today at chatsports.com/newsbreak. We will keep you guys in the know when it comes to everything, including videos from us. But Newsbreak, they're a great partner of us here at Chat Sports. That link will be in the comments and the description. chatsports.com/newsbreak. Let's start Rookie of the Year now. 2 candidates here. LaMelo Ball, who missed some time but has been phenomenal when he has played. I think he's a generational talent. And then you've got Anthony Edwards, who has really come on strong for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's had a couple of 35, 40-point games down the stretch of the season. He's really made a hard push, especially since LaMelo Ball missed about a month and a half with that wrist injury, I believe it was. So it's become a legitimate race here with Edwards and with LaMelo Ball between these two guys. Edwards more of a pure volume scorer. LaMelo Ball obviously has been a little bit more efficient. He's also been an electric playmaker as a passer, ball handler, etc. If I had to pick one of these guys, which I will in a second, we'll put up the numbers side by side real quick first. They've both been fantastic. Everybody said, "Oh, this draft, it's not that good of a draft." It's actually been a fantastic draft, not just for these two guys, but for several others as well. I would go LaMelo Ball. I get Edwards has been healthier. He's come on stronger as of late, but which team is going to the playoffs, or at least in the play-in tournament? I'm going LaMelo and the Hornets. Look, the Hornets have been the most irrelevant franchise in the NBA. They kind of have been. The only thing they've been known for is having MJ as their owner, executive, and he's been bad. He got this one right. He drafted a hell of a player in LaMelo Ball. I'm typing LB on this one. I think he's the best rookie this year. I think he should win Rookie of the Year despite missing a few games. Type LB if you agree. Type AE if you think it should be Anthony Edwards. Can't go wrong, but I actually think LaMelo Ball is more deserving. We finally made it. MVP. I think it's down to these three. Now, MVP, unlike these other awards, has more candidates. You could go 5, 6, 7 deep. You could add, who am I leaving? Chris Paul. You could add Luka, Julius Randle, James Harden before the injury, LeBron before the injury. This, for a while, was a 5, 6, 7-person race, but it's down to these three, and I think one has really pulled away the last 3 weeks or so, and that is Nikola Jokic. Can we say enough about this guy, how unique he is? He's a 7-foot point guard who can shoot like a shooting guard, handle like a point guard, and pass like John Stockton. I mean, the guy is ridiculous. You just don't create players like this. It's unheard of, and the efficiency is off the charts. And the reason he's pulled away is the Nuggets keep winning without Jamal Murray. They just keep winning. It's been unbelievable what Jokic has been able to do. He's averaging 27, 10, and 8.5, shooting 57% from the floor, 40% from three. This guy is the MVP this year, and I heard Nick Wright recently say, this would be the worst MVP winner in 35 years if he wins it. No, it wouldn't. Nikola Jokic is incredible. He is phenomenal. He is absolutely deserving of winning MVP. Just because he plays in Denver and people don't watch him every night doesn't mean he's not a beast. Doesn't mean he's not a stud. Doesn't mean he's not going to the Hall of Fame one day, because I guarantee you he will be in the Hall of Fame barring a significant injury. He's my MVP. And quite frankly, I don't know how close it actually is now that we've gotten toward the end of the season. But we'll let you guys weigh in. NJ for Nikola Jokic, JE for Joel Embiid, SC for Steph Curry. I love Embiid. I love Curry. They've been unbelievable. But I'm giving it to Nikola Jokic. I'm typing my NJ. I'll get some shout-outs here. Got to hydrate a little bit. You can also type someone else. If you think it's Chris Paul, if you think it's Luka, if you think it's, a different player, let us know. Paulus, is this live now? Yes, we are definitely live. Let's see. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, both imposters. They made the Western Conference Finals last year, dude. Oh, Community Man Marshall, Knicks fan, says Julius Randle, of course. JJ, who do you have? Who's JJ? Oh, he meant NJ. Okay, there we go. Juan says Nikola Jokic. Yeah, look, there's a lot of worthy candidates this year. I think 5 guys are probably worthy, but I think Jokic, he's the guy. He's the guy this year, so there is no doubt about that. So we're going to wrap things up with a little bit of live Q&A. So use hashtag NBA or Super Chat. We'll answer your questions for 10 or 12 minutes, and then we will wrap up today's show. So hashtag NBA, or we can Super Chat, and hey, we'll do it for the next 10 or 12 minutes. So get your questions in, hashtag NBA, or you can Super Chat to get your questions on the show. And if you Super Chat, you can skip the line, which, hey, it's like the Fast Pass at Disney World. So take advantage of that opportunity. Mailbag time here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Get your questions in right now so producer Jeremy can put them up on screen. We'll answer as many as we can for the next several minutes. All right, let's start with YouTube J. Do you believe the Lakers will make another run into the finals if healthy? What I believe is if they are truly fully healthy come playoff time, which is basically now, then they can make the finals. Will they? It's going to be harder. They're going to be on the road the whole time. So, we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to be as easy of a run as it was last year, but it's definitely possible. I'm never going to count out King James. For hype, Kyle Lowry or Fred VanVleet? Lowry. For 5 years, VanVleet. He's certainly younger, but 1 or 2 year deal, I'm taking Kyle Lowry. I think he's a better player. I think he's more valuable. I think he can help you win, and Quite frankly, I think the LA Lakers made a mistake by not trading for him. AKA Miami, who should Miami target in free agency? Should they bring back Oladipo? Oladipo worries me. I would not bring him back on more than a one-year deal. Now, the report recently is that he bought a mansion in South Beach, so his plans are to stay there. Maybe they already have an agreement in place to return to Miami. We'll see. He's going to be a free agent this offseason. They traded for him, so obviously they like him, but I wouldn't give him a 3 or 4 year deal. Too many injuries. That worries me. I would look at Kawhi. If Kawhi hits the open market, I'm all in on Kawhi Leonard if I'm Miami. Now, he's wanted to get to the West Coast his entire career, and now that he's finally gotten there, will he leave again? I don't know, but South Beach is as close as it gets to California. Ronnie Smith, could the Warriors win a playoff series this year? It's a good question, Ronnie. I mean, obviously, Steph has these guys playing at a very high level. Andrew Wiggins has played really, really well down the stretch here, which has been nice to see. Could they? Possibly. I do think they will at least get out of the play-in tournament, and they will get into a 7-game series. Like LeBron, I don't count out Steph Curry because he can shoot his way into a series. You know what I mean? He'll shoot 35 points a game, shooting over 50% from 3 in a series, and give you a chance. It's what he's done all year. His efficiency has been off the chain, so is his volume. So if he can keep that up, you feel like you at least have a chance. It's going to be hard, though. I mean, they're going to face either Utah or Phoenix. So, you know, it's not going to be easy by any means. But I definitely think they at least have a chance to be competitive in a 7-game series because they have arguably the best player in the world, if not someone in the top 5, and his name is Steph Curry. So we'll see what happens. If you're a fan of the Golden State Warriors, make sure you subscribe to our Warriors channel. It's youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Go ahead and give us a sub right there. Charles Giuseppe, should the Lakers re-sign Talen Horton-Tucker? I mean, you better, right? You passed on trading for Kyle Lowry, so if you're not going to re-sign, or if you're not going to re-sign Horton-Tucker, then why didn't you just trade for Lowry? That was the whole holdup of that trade, is they didn't want to trade THT. So, listen, I think that you better bring him back now. He's going to cost. Teams are going to make offers for him. He's played pretty well this year. But listen, I mean, you don't trade for Lowry to try and win now. So I don't get why you would not re-sign Talen Horton-Tucker. So I hope they do. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Would the Lakers re-sign THT? I think they will, because the minute they didn't trade for Lowry, they said, hey, we're bringing THT back. So Philadelphia or Toronto wanted THT in a trade. Lakers said no, and so now you got to re-sign THT. Otherwise, you lost him for nothing. So Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and get your votes in. Johnny Bones, can you salsa dance better than LeBron? No, I can't. I actually can't salsa dance better than LeBron. I don't even know how to salsa dance, so no. And I'm not going to try, so, you know, that's just the way it is. If someone sends in a $100 super chat, I'll try, but unless that happens, yeah, I'll be honest, I don't even know what this, I'd have to look at a video at what the salsa dance even looks like. I can't even remember. Kevin McFlurry, can the 76ers make a run to the NBA Finals? Sure they can. They can win the East. That's not out of the realm of possibility. It's going to be either the 76ers, Nets, Bucks, or Heat. It'll be one of those 4 teams. I don't think the Knicks are making a run to the Finals. I don't think the Celtics are. It'll be one of those 4, and they're one of the 4. So it's possible. Would I bet on it? I'd probably take the field over the Sixers, but hey, they've stayed atop the East the entire season. We've got NBA jerseys available at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Go pick one up because the playoffs are almost here. That link is in the comments. It's in the description. High-quality Nike and Jordan branded jerseys at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. We got LeBron, we got Steph, Luka, Tatum, all kinds of jerseys for all of your favorite teams. Alternate jerseys, too. Look at this Philadelphia one. Isn't that a sweet look? chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Look at this LaMelo Ball jersey. I mean, I might buy one right now. chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Jeremy Chuggs, my producer, he's already bought 3 of these bad boys. That link is in the comments and it's in the description. Shout out your favorite player and get his jersey at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Get your comments in right now. It can be current, it can be all time. My favorite all-time player, Dirk Nowitzki, of course, he's the GOAT. Shout him out. Let us know who your favorite player in the NBA is right now. Time for a few more for hype. Do you think the Mavs will beat the Clippers in the first round if they play each other? I think they can. I think they proved last year they can play with the Clippers. Now, you need Kristaps Porzingis healthy. We know that's a question mark every single night. So, can they? Yeah. Will they? They wouldn't be favored. The Clippers would be. But I think if KP's healthy and Luka's playing well, that's doable. Even without KP last year, the Mavs competed. They took that to 6 games. So, I'd give them like a 40% chance. Clippers would be favored, but they wouldn't be major favorites. The Mavericks can play with the Clippers. Can they beat them in the 7-game series? I'm not sure. Mama Curry, can you make 100 threes in a row like Curry? No. I actually can't. I like my jumper. I got a nice little step back, but I'm not making 100 threes in a row. It's just not going to happen. He's Steph Curry for a reason. He's in the kitchen all the time with heaters. So, no, I can't make 100 threes in a row. Sion, what do you think now about the Raptors getting rid of Marc Gasol? I mean, it was time to rebuild, so I don't really know what you want me to say about this. Okay. I don't have any strong opinions on that one, so yeah, there you go. Oh, producer Marshall, or executive producer Marshall wants his question up, so he's running the chat sports community, so he asks this one. Can the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? I think they can win a series, Marshall. I don't think they can make them a conference finals. But hey, don't doubt Julius, am I right? There you go. For hype, do you think DeMarcus Cousins was a good pickup for the Clippers? I'm fine with it. I don't mind it. Will he be in the playoff rotation? Maybe, maybe not. He's had a couple of decent games. He can't defend anymore. Too many injuries, so he can't play defense. But he can score. He's still effective offensively. As a depth big that can, give you a little bit of juice off the bench, yeah, I don't mind it. Now, this mailbag's almost over, but hey, luckily for you, I am on Twitter, so send me your questions over there if we don't get them answered today. I'm at HGramNFL. Shoot me some NBA, some NFL questions. Anything else, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So give me a follow at HGramNFL. Slide in the DMs. They are always open. I'm looking to talk sports all the time with you guys at HGramNFL on Twitter. You will not be disappointed if you give me a follow. We have time for a couple more questions here. Hashtag NBA, or you can super chat. Got just a few more coming in here. Producer Jeremy going to get them up shortly here. Hashtag NBA, or you can super chat. Let me see if I can see any on my screen here. Here we go. For hype, who is the most underrated player in the NBA? Underrated? Man, that's a good question. I think a guy that's really solid that literally no one talks about is, that's a good one. Producer Jeremy says Domantas Sabonis. He's really good. I like Jeremy Grant. The Detroit sucks, so no one talks about him. How about the kid in Houston, Christian Wood? He's really good. Christian Wood's really good, guys. The Rockets are just rebuilding now. So those are some names. I think those are some of the really more underrated players in the NBA. Appreciate all your questions today. Subscribe and join us. We go live every Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern. No loop today, so we're going to sign off on today's show momentarily. But hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. That way you never, ever miss a show. Live shows every Friday, videos throughout the week here on Chat Sports. So go ahead and get subscribed so you don't miss any of our shows. Joey Rabbits, what is your sleeper team for each conference? For the playoffs, I think the Mavs could be a sleeper in the West. And then I will go with I was going to say the Hawks. Gosh, I don't know if there is a sleeper in the East. We'll show you the standings. Maybe this will give me a refresher. I think the Clippers could be sneaky. Are they considered a sleeper, though? They're top 3. I don't know. I think the Mavs could be dangerous if they're healthy. I don't like Portland come playoff time. They just don't defend. Lakers don't count, even though they're down to 7 seed. Warriors, Grizzlies, Spurs, they're not going to make any noise. Eastern Conference, I don't count the Heat as a sleeper, but obviously you can't look past them after what they did last year. Intrigued by the Hawks. Maybe the Knicks, I don't know. I think it's a little too early for them to make any real noise. Charlotte's a year away at least. Washington next year, I think, is a team to watch for if they can get another piece around Westbrook and Beal. But I don't know that there's any true sleepers. That's a good question. Sion, most overrated player in the NBA. He's been on a tear recently, but I think usually it's Russell Westbrook because he's not a winning player. I'm sorry. Like, if you want to go far and you think he's your best player, then you're just not gonna. It's just not gonna happen. So I think he's the most overrated player. And by the way, overrated does not mean bad. It just means not as good as everyone says. If you love the NBA, subscribe to the channel. Like we mentioned, live shows every single Friday, and tons of videos from myself, Chase Sr., Tom Downey. Don't miss any of it. We are signing off on today's edition of NBA Now, so we'll see you guys very soon. Go ahead and subscribe.